He's described as an exemplary soldier, but the battle this army specialist is fighting is not against an enemy abroad, but one here at home. He's a Muslim, and for that, he says, he's endured not just teasing, but outright religious and racial discrimination, as Diane Sawyer now reports.
This is Army Specialist Zachary Klawan. His friends say he is smart, brave, dedicated, the kind of soldier they aspire to be.
I had first seen him, I was like, oh, a Muslim, you know? What? Pretty much like, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing here? And then I ran into him, you know, and I started speaking to him. Klawan to me is my battle buddy. He's like, as some people would say, a brother from another mother.
Anytime someone tells him, you know, what he can do, he does it.
He runs like a gazelle, like something you see on the Discovery Channel or something. You know, I'm not even on his level, not even close.
I really do think he is the best soldier in our battalion, hands down.
The best soldier, and his mother is Moroccan. He speaks Arabic. His father was from Kansas and was in the Air Force, but died when Zachary was 15.
Since I could remember, absolutely, you know, since a young guy, there was really no question about it. I was excited to, you know, I guess, defend America, do that, you know, we call it hua stuff, you know, exciting stuff, you know, very honorable and admirable.
It was the summer before his senior year when he decided to enlist without his family's knowledge.
I called my mom and I told her I joined the Army, and she started laughing. I said, "No, Mom, I really joined the Army." And she's like, you know, what? What? And she just hung the phone up. And I called back maybe 2-3 more times. She didn't pick up. Needless to say, we didn't talk for about 3 days.
He arrived at basic training in Oklahoma. The drill sergeant singled him out, made fun of Islam in front of 400 recruits.
Called me out of formation, took me to the front, and, you know, was basically making a mockery of it.
Next, at a final training exercise in the field,
I was picked out of our entire group to play the terrorist.
They wrapped some cloth around his head, and we had to put him down, you know, have guns drawn on him.
It didn't stop there. When he arrived at Fort Hood, Texas,
I think it was the third week I was at Fort Hood. I noticed from a distance, underneath my windshield here, that there was a letter there, and I took the letter out and I read it, and it said, "Hey, carpet jockey, go back where you come from."
I've heard like a few Osama bin Laden jokes, you know, like where's your dad at? You know, referring to Osama bin Laden and, you know, Saddam Hussein and all.
Raghead, sand monkey, carpet jockey, Zachary bin Laden. I mean, they're all terrible names, but the one that really hits me hard is to be called a terrorist.
And again, not just recruits, his sergeant.
One of my first sergeants, you know, he asked me loudly in front of me, he's like, you know, you're not part of any terrorist organization or anything. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
On November 5th, 2009, Major Nidal Hassan, a Muslim, opened fire, killing 13 at Fort Hood. Zachary didn't know Hassan.
Right when the shooting happened, you know, we really didn't know who it was or anything like that. But when, you know, details started to come out, one of them that they had in custody or whatever was a Muslim. So I thought immediately, like, you know, here we go. You know, they're going to be guys that are comparing me to that or like linking me to that just due to the fact that we're both Muslims. People asking me to justify what Major Nidal Hassan had done that day, and asking me to justify is kind of ridiculous, because how could I justify, you know, an act like that?
Then 3 months after the shooting, it was a Monday morning.
It was around 2 a.m. in the morning, and I was woken up by a loud beating. And a note falls that was wedged in the door. A note falls to the ground, and I pick it up and I read it. Excuse my language, but it said, "Raghead, burn in hell."
That was the most despicable thing I've ever heard. I was furious.
Klawan reported the incident to his commanders, whose answer was to ask him to move off base for his safety. After the Washington Post published an article about him, other soldiers, perfect strangers, wrote trying to help. One wrote, "I want to let you know I'd be honored to share a foxhole with you any day." Another, Army Captain Dorothy Carskadden, one of the shooting victims, seen here talking to ABC's Bob Woodruff.
Says, Dear Specialist Kwan, I read about your story in the Washington Post. I would be proud to serve with you. I'm sorry for the harassment that you have suffered due to me getting shot. It is unfair and unwarranted.
But as of tonight, this model soldier, the kind who loved getting up at 4 in the morning to get ready for the day, is debating whether he can stay.
You know, I'm not asking for a handout. I'm not asking for any special treatment. I'm asking for just the bare essentials and the due rights that the rest of the soldiers have.
Ready to fight for his country, but wounded by prejudice at home.
What did you get in the military to protect?
No, the way of life. You know, the rights that we have. When I say the sky's the limit, the American dream. You know, the constitutional rights that we have and the freedoms that we take for granted, near and dear to my heart.